Whatever happened to the original Wally West? Well, let's find out. Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read them dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panel, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Now this is Titans 1 through 6 in the DC Rebirth, and it is the story of Wally West's return to the DC Universe proper. To help stop any confusion, I'm going to explain the situation real fast. When DC launched the New 52, they removed quite a few things that fans loved from the universe in order to create the new one that we have now. One of those things is Wally West, the classic one that many remember from the Young Justice TV show and such. The fan base cried out that they wanted their Flash back because Barry Allen had only recently returned from the dead, and for 20 years, Wally West was the Flash. There weren't two Flashes, and there wasn't Barry Allen working behind the scenes, there was only Wally West. DC eventually gave us a new Wally West, an African-American nephew of Iris West, and while he was a great character, the fan base still cried out that they wanted the red-headed classic Wally. DC went ahead and based the new TV show Wally West and West Family on this new Wally West, and they continued to ignore the vocal minority crying out for the classic Wally. Until DC Rebirth. In the DC Rebirth comic, we learned that Wally West from the old timeline was actually still around. He had just been removed from the timeline, and he fought through the Speed Force to come back to this time period. He revealed to Barry Allen that someone powerful had actually removed 10 years from this timeline, and in doing so, weakened the heroes and villains of this world. They agreed to look into this mystery together with the help of Batman, but since they had very little to go on, Wally decided to first seek out his old friends, the Titans, and in doing so, he discovered that he could restore their original memories of him through a simple touch. This brings us to today. While we have Wally West as the Flash on the Titans, we still have the other Wally West as Kid Flash, though he won't be in this story. Wally West, the original, is now going by the name The Flash on the Titans, and while the Titans believe who he is, they know that they need to solve the mystery of where did he go and how was he removed from their memories. How did all of this happen? So now he sits down with Lilith Clay, also known as Omen, as she reads his mind. She tells him that she's picking up on a powerful name within his mind, Linda Park. Wally explains that before all of this happened, the loss of 10 years and him going missing, Linda was a girl that he knew from before. The Titans joke that Wally has a girl in his mind while they're trying to save the world, and Nightwing even tells him that maybe he should build new memories with her. But what they don't know is the reason why she's so important to Wally. Linda Park was the woman that Wally West was married to before all of this. They even had children together. Roy tells him that he should get her off his mind by reaching out to her, and Wally says that he tried that already. He did it during the Rebirth issue if you're curious. He also explains that it didn't go well. He just scared her. The Titans keep trying to figure out a plan, and they find what they can in Wally's mind until eventually Omen picks up something in Keystone City. Wally is not the only individual awakening in this new time with old memories, as a magician falls to the ground at a children's party and yells out in pain. Then through the smoke stands a much younger man, and he waves his wand in the air announcing, "I remember now! I'm Abracadabra, the greatest magician of all time! The man who made Wally West disappear! And for my next trick, I'm going to destroy him." Meanwhile, elsewhere in Keystone City, Linda Park makes a move to the police line to ask what's going on. She lets them know that if there's a news story, they have to let her in. She works with the media. And the officer explains that there are some individuals in tights that appeared out of nowhere and now they're standing there. She then sees that they are the Titans. Well, not the Titans from today. No, instead they are the Titans that Abracadabra remembers in their old outfits. She runs past the police officer, recognizing Wally West, or at least a approximation of him. She asks him if he remembers appearing to her before. She wants to know why he did it, and why did he act like he knew her. He tells her that he doesn't remember anything. It's almost like he was just born. Robin then turns to him and tells him, "Hey, Kid Flash, it's time, they're almost here." Linda asks, "It's time for what?" And they all break out going nuts. It's time to go crazy! And what's the point of the crazy old Titans? Abracadabra showing off his versions, just as the real Titans arrive. Nightwing the leader, Donna Troy the Amazon, Arsenal the marksman, Omen the psychic, Flash the speedster, and Tempest the Atlantean. Evil Roy catches Arsenal's arrow and fires one back at him, only for Donna to block it with her shield. Nightwing tries to tell everyone to get out of there, but Robin jumps in throwing batarangs at him. Then Robin gets the upper hand against Nightwing, throwing him to the ground. Meanwhile, Flash is chasing the evil clone Kid Flash. The race of the speedsters begins begins as classic Kid Flash outruns Flash. He quickly trips his doppelganger, and then he asks his friends how they're doing. But Donna is having a problem, telling him that these doppelgangers fight like the real things. During the battle, though, Omen finds Linda Park hiding out and asks who is she. She explains that she is Linda Park from Super News, and Omen stops her. Wait, you're Wally's Linda? Linda asks her what does that even mean? And the evil doppelganger Lilith hits Omen with a mind blast, disabling her, asking the same question. Evil Lilith then reports back to Abracadabra that this Linda Park woman is really important to Wally West, and that's when Tempest sees the woman reporting and demands to know who she's talking to. He then sees Abracadabra up on the rooftop watching the entire event. As they try to figure it out, Abracadabra can't believe that that's Linda Park. That means that Wally has already broken his own history, so he decides that he's going to speed up his plans by destroying Wally West. As Tempest comes out of nowhere hitting him, demanding to know who he is and what is he doing here. So Kadabra decides that he's going to start his plans by killing Wally's friends, starting with Garth. And just as he hits him with a lightning bolt, Wally runs in trying to save him. Everyone panics as they assume Garth is down, but it turns out that Wally was just fast enough. And he turns to Kadabra asking, "How do you know me?" Because most people have forgotten me. Because I made sure that they would. I was the one who wiped you from time and recollection. My greatest trick ever. Wally's eyes begin to charge with lightning as he gets angry. You did this to me? For God's sake, Kadabra, what did I do to you? Thwarted me every single time. Nightwing jumps in asking if Wally needs a hand, but Kadabra isn't ready to fight them all and he teleports away. And with him, he teleports the fake Titans. Wally immediately wants to go down and talk to Linda, but Nightwing tells him to leave Omen there. She's a trained counselor and she can help. So Wally explains who Kadabra is. He's a techno-mage from the future. He stole his tech and he came back to this time to get famous, but Wally has stopped him every chance that he can. But while they clean the mess up from the fight, two more individuals that were there with them on their recent adventures see them on the news. Mal and Karen. And Karen wants to help them, though Mal tells her not to bother Nightwing and his friends. Nightwing and the Titans head off to a pizza parlor where they sit down and they talk about this. Is this another situation of their past being altered? Is this the big threat that Wally was here to warn everyone about? But Nightwing says that it doesn't make any sense. Kadabra's a showman full of tricks. He's too selfish and spoiled to have edited the world. But while this is happening, Kadabra is telling his fake Titans that they need to do better! Back at the pizza parlor, Omen arrives and tells everyone that all the people back at the battleground are panicking, but she left Linda there with the EMTs. Thinking that this is his chance, Wally races off to find her and he stops right in front of her, scaring her again. He begins apologizing for startling her, and then he apologizes for what happened earlier, realizing that he was apologizing before he was even apologizing, and the only thing that Linda wants to know is, what's going on? What is he here to tell her? Because last time it was that they were apparently together and in a relationship. He explains that he's aware of a timeline that she doesn't know about. So she asks, "What are you expecting? That I'm gonna fall into your arms?" And he tells her, "Oh God, no. I'm sorry for scaring you and everything." They stand there awkwardly looking at each other, and Wally begins to walk away, telling her goodbye. She stops him, telling him an exclusive would make up for this. He comes back and begins to answer all of her questions, until out of nowhere, Kadabra appears behind them, kidnapping her. Then he instantly comes back, reminding Wally that he intends to destroy his life from start to finish. As Wally tries to grab him, stop him, anything, he tells him, "You have 1 hour to find the girl, Flash," and poof, the magician is gone. Wally falls to his knees. He never should have come back. He's ruining lives, and now Linda's in trouble. Lilith appears, beginning to doubt herself. How could she not have seen this coming? It was a trap. She's a failure of a superhero, but Nightwing tells her not to worry. It's not anyone's fault that they were played. So Lilith tries her best to tap into Kadabra's mind again and sees him in 3 locations. Nightwing tells the team that they have to hit all 3 at once. So Lilith throws the locations into everyone's heads and they run off to each spot. First up, Wally and Arsenal run to a high school where Arsenal sits awkwardly in Wally's arms, telling him, "You can let me down now." He then flips the lights on and they don't see Linda. They see Robin and Kid Flash from the fake Titans. And without more than a few words, the group leaps into fight. Over at the Gallery for Art, Omen and Tempest arrive. And right away, Tempest is hit by one of Roy's arrows, and then evil Donna jumps at Lilith. Over at the Key Mart, Nightwing and Donna begin to fight it out with evil Lilith and Tempest. While everyone is fighting, Kadabra explains his plan to Linda. You see, he's amplified the power of the fake Titans so that the Titans separated can't beat them. Then he's going to stage a situation that will require Wally's fastest speed. And when he runs that fast, well, let's just say when a Flash runs at his top speed, poof, they're gone. Kadabra explains that Wally avoided that before by being anchored by the love of his life, Linda. But now you have no feelings for him. Well, bye-bye, Wally. And that's when he appears before Wally, telling him the horrible truth. The Titans have lost in each of the locations. Plus, here's Linda, about to be dropped into hot molten metals. So who will you save, Wally? Who will live and who will die? Wally grits his teeth. I'm gonna save them all. Oh, I'd love to see you try, but the clock is ticking and I'm afraid you're going to run out of time. Wally thinks to himself, he'll run faster than he's ever run before. before, even if it kills him. Wally rockets up with Kadabra telling him, "Run, Wally, run!" He has to cross 7,000 miles in 6.25 seconds, saving the individuals at 4 locations that Kadabra has transported them all to. First up, he instantly grabs Robin before he can kill Arsenal, and he drags him out of the building, dropping him off at the Keystone City sign, smashing him face first into it. Wally continues to follow the psionic connection that Lilith made for them to get across the country, going faster than he's ever gone before. He begins to think out his plan. In Metropolis, the fake Speedy's arrow is already in flight, covering 300 feet per second, but the fake Lilith can cook her enemy in a millisecond. She has to be priority 1. How fast does he have to be to make this? Faster than a speeding bullet? Faster than light? Faster than magic? And as he rockets across the country, Kadabra uses his magic to keep up and whisper into Wally's ear, telling him that when he threw him out of the time stream, the spell backfired and he removed himself as well. But when Wally came back, he opened the doors. He brought back people who shouldn't be here. While Wally is debating what is happening, he zooms through the area where Donna and Nightwing are, and he cracks both the fake Lilith and the fake Garth across their faces, leaving Nightwing asking if that was even Wally. He doesn't even stop though, as he thinks to himself, 3 seconds left. I have to stop the arrows from the fake arsenal and get Linda off of her burning rope. But one thing that Kadabra didn't account for is that all of that time in the time stream did something to Wally. He's more in tune with the Speed Force than ever before, and he speeds faster than light as he catches the arrows and ties up the fake Donna and Roy, and he keeps going. He begins to see nothing but a blaring white light of speed as he thinks to himself, "Gotham, Linda, run!" The rope burns through and Wally runs over to the molten metals to catch her and drop her off. She turns around to see Wally, but she doesn't see Wally. She sees the Speed Force absorbing him, the lightning coursing through him, and he smiles down at her. "I had to, Linda. It was you." She puts her hands to her mouth, gasping, "What did you do?" And he reaches out, asking her, "Take my hand." And then cracoom! He vanishes, leaving only his suit in the dust. And Kadabra stands up. "At long last, Wally West, your time is up." Linda gets up demanding Kadabra bring him back, and she hits him across the face. Kadabra then pops all of the Titans back here so that he can brag that he won after Wally saved them. And they all try to do something to stop him, but he blocks everything, telling them, "Alas, I have seen the future, and the one who could have stopped me is off the playing field. I win, you lose." Meanwhile, within the Speed Force, Wally is sitting there with Linda, not the real Linda, but the version from his mind, his past. She tells him that he has to go home. This isn't real. It's just in his mind. And he tells her that he wants to stay here. At least this version loves him. And the Linda in his mind tells him, maybe one day the other one will too, if you give her a chance. And Wally tells her, "You're forgetting one thing. Even if I wanted to leave this place, I can't go back. There's nothing there to hold on to." Over with the Titans and Kadabra, Omen peeks into his mind, seeing potential futures and seeing everything that is happening. But that's when she sees that nothing is set in stone. She tells the Titans to attack. They can win this fight, and they begin to throw everything they have at Kadabra. But back in the Speed Force, the Linda there tells Wally that he needs to say it louder. He needs to focus on it. He knows what he can use to get back. And he says, "The Titans are my friends." Then she tells him to focus on the good memories. Use that as his anchor. The times that they were there for him and the times that he was there for them. His suit returns and he hugs the Linda in his mind. The Linda from his timeline. "I love you, Linda. I know. Goodbye." Run, Wally! Run! And in a crack, Wally runs out of the Speed Force and back into reality, hitting Kadabra. He looks at Wally. "West? Impossible! You've undone my greatest trick!" "No, my friends did. They love me and nothing can keep us apart. Because love is real magic, the kind that you'll never understand." He then throws Kadabra into the open portal back into his own time stream. And everyone comes over to hug Wally, thankful that their friend is back. Wally explains that he threw Kadabra into the time stream to return him to the proper time that he's from. And then Wally goes over to Linda, and she tells him, "Do not involve me in this insanity again. But I do want that exclusive, so I'll be giving you a call." Everyone asks Lilith if she got something out of Kadabra's head, and she reveals that Kadabra may have affected Wally, but he didn't remove the 10 years from everyone's lives. That was way beyond his abilities. But when she was in his mind, she saw something that oddly stood out. A name. Manhattan. And while they're recouping and deciding where they're going to go next, an individual from their past is looking at them. An individual known as Slade Wilson, Deathstroke. And that concludes the original, the starter, Titans arc in the DC Rebirth. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know down below what you think about Wally West as the Flash on the Titans. They're both going by the name The Flash. The Kid Flash is only the original Wally West. But let me know what you think about all of that. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Comicstorian, and I'll see you next time right here. And without a few...